Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into something pretty relevant for a lot of businesses right now. Specifically, that potential working capital squeeze happening, this summer.
Yeah.
Because of supply chain snags and, well, tariffs.
Yeah, it's a tricky landscape out there.
Definitely. And we're using a post from May 9th, 2025 as our guide here. It's by Chris Lehnes, a factoring specialist, called Factoring Working Capital to Survive a Summer of Tariffs.
Right.
So our mission today is really to dig into this thing called factoring. Can it actually help businesses navigate these choppy economic waters?
Absolutely. I mean, these disruptions and tariffs, they can really put a vice grip on a company's cash flow.
How so exactly?
Well, think about it. Your capital gets tied up longer while goods are in transit, maybe stuck somewhere. Then, boom, unexpected tariff costs hit.
Right.
It just creates this real crunch for covering your day-to-day operating expenses.
Okay, so let's unpack factoring itself. What does it actually do for a business?
So imagine you've sent invoices to your customers. They owe you money, right? That's your accounts receivable. Factoring is basically a way to get a big chunk of that money almost immediately, instead of waiting, 30, 60, maybe even 90 days for your customer to pay.
You get cash sooner.
Exactly. A factoring company buys that invoice, in a sense, and advances you most of the value right away. It's all about speeding up your cash flow.
Got it. Like getting paid now for work you've already invoiced.
Yeah.
The post mentions a huge range, too, like $100,000 up to $30 million.
Yeah, that's a big range. It shows it's not just for one size of business. It can scale up quite a bit.
And it mentioned no long-term commitments. That seems important.
Oh, that's huge. Especially now, with all the uncertainty. Businesses aren't, locked into some 5-year contract if things change. It offers flexibility.
Okay, now this term, non-recourse, it came up in the post. What does that mean for a business owner who's maybe worried about their customers being affected by tariffs too?
Right. This is a really key feature. Non-recourse means that if the factoring company buys your invoice and then your customer can't pay because they went bankrupt or something similar, the factoring company takes that loss, not you. Now, it usually doesn't cover things like disputes over the goods you delivered, but the credit risk, that shifts away from your business.
Okay. So in this climate, where maybe your customer's business is under pressure from tariffs.
Exactly. That non-recourse aspect gives you an extra layer of protection. It mitigates some of that risk that their financial problems could become your financial problems.
That makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
The post also flagged manufacturers, distributors, and most service businesses as the main users.
Yeah, that fits. Those are typically the sectors where you have that built-in delay between doing the work or shipping the goods and actually getting paid.
Right, the invoice lag.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So factoring helps bridge that gap, keeps the working capital flowing so they can keep operating.
Okay, this is where I thought it got really interesting. The post highlights that this specific program focuses on what it calls challenging deals. Like new businesses, companies growing super fast, maybe they already have a lot of debt, or even reported losses recently, or owners with weaker personal credit. That's not what banks usually look for.
That's a critical difference with some types of factoring. They often look less at your company's historical financials or balance sheet.
And more at
the creditworthiness of your customers, the companies who owe you the money. If they have a solid track record of paying their bills, that's the main thing.
Okay.
And they mention character issues, too. That likely means they look at the business owners themselves, their reputation, their integrity, their track record. Are they reliable operators, maybe just hitting a rough patch?
So it's a more holistic view, maybe, not just numbers on a page.
You could say that. It allows them to fund businesses that might not tick all the traditional boxes for a bank loan.
Right. So let's tie it back directly to the summer tariffs and supply chain issues. What's the number one benefit here?
It's got to be the immediate cash. Simple as that. If tariffs suddenly increase your costs for materials or delays mean you're waiting longer for customer payments,
You need cash now.
Exactly. Factoring gives you that immediate liquidity. It lets you absorb those hits, pay your suppliers, make payroll, whatever you need, without grinding things to a halt. Think about a distributor facing sudden import cost hikes. Factoring could provide the funds to cover that instantly.
That makes sense. It's about immediate access to funds you're already owed, essentially.
Precisely. Leveraging an asset you already have your receivables.
And the post did wrap up just by saying, anyone interested could contact Chris Lehnes to see if it's a fit for their specific situation.
Which really sums it up. Factoring, especially these programs geared towards perhaps less than perfect situations, offers a real viable way for businesses to shore up their working capital, particularly during these times of tariff impacts and ongoing supply chain wobbles. It's an alternative to traditional funding that leverages your sales to get you cash quickly.
So maybe the final thought here for you listening is, in an economy that can change on a dime because of global events, how crucial is it to look beyond just traditional bank loans?
Yeah.
Exploring these more adaptable tools like factoring. Could that be the key to building the agility and resilience your business needs to handle whatever comes next? Definitely some food for thought.
Well said.
Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.